Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends with another champion guide, this time on Souless. Void Affinity, Knights Revenant champion, really hard hitter, a great provoker, really cool champ. Before we get into the guide, a few shoutouts to you guys. We have a VRB2, love the content, thank you man. Can we do a build for Souless for Faction Wars? Absolutely. This build that I share with you guys today will be good pretty much everywhere in the game. Souless is the first legendary that I ever pulled, and I thought you never know him. We'll make it happen today for you, Sergio. It was Sergio, right? Yeah, Sergio EXE. Then we have Uriel Diaz. We have Zach Wesley. We have Yak Empire. We have Steven and Nathan, as well as Joe and many, many more. Popular request here for Souless. Today, I am proud to also thank my very first channel sponsor, video sponsor here on the channel, I should say. It's actually a cool opportunity for you guys to get involved on a game that has not been released in the genre. So here it is. But first, real quick, guys, I want to give a massive shout out to today's video sponsor. It's 8th Era. Now, before you even think about skipping this ad, give me 2 seconds here. Give me 10 seconds here. This is a great opportunity for you guys. It's getting in on the ground floor of an alpha version of a new game in this genre that's coming soonish, hopefully around this year, but you can get involved right away, right? It's a mobile turn-based RPG. Again, 8th Era, you can see some of the art here. I've been working with this company for a while, and let me tell you, it's the Nice Gang, and they are, well, they're really nice. They're really nice. They care about the community, and they want your feedback, okay? Go on to the website. I'll have it linked in the show notes below in the pinned comment. Go in there and sign up for the 8th Era Alpha in January 2024, and you can win exclusive physical rewards. So just go ahead and enter your email. You'll be in the Alpha. Now, the first 50 players to successfully complete all stages in the new Alpha, right, in normal and hard difficulties, will receive an exclusive limited edition coin by mail. Now, unfortunately, this only applies to North American players out there. North American iOS for the alpha, okay? But check this out, guys. I got my hands on one. It's really cool. They give you this this minted coin if you're one of the first 50 players, which is awesome. And you'll have the opportunity to provide feedback on the game and really start to shape a game that, who knows, you could be really seriously hooked into in the future later on this year and beyond, right? So again, taking a look at some of the art here, it's a mobile turn-based RPG, as I already mentioned. It takes place 10,000 years in the future, which is really cool. It's just got like an interesting storyline that I have not previously seen in the genre. You have to take down a super evil supercomputer, the Harmony AI that reigns supreme over the world. Wow, that strikes a very realistic chord that could absolutely be the future, maybe even beyond, or maybe even much sooner, I should say, than 10,000 years in the future. And again, guys, be on the lookout for this game. Even if you're outside NA or an Android user, be on the lookout, because I have a feeling this will be the first, but far from the last time that you hear of this game. Thank you so much, 8th Era, for sponsoring today's video. All right, guys, so here we go. Let's take a look at Souless. As I mentioned, he's a legendary. He is a Void legendary and a Knight Revenant. He looks pretty cool. He's an OG champion in the game. As a matter of fact, he used to be one of the slowest legendaries in the game. I want to say a 96 base speed. Let's take a look at Ayumi Love right here. I love Ayumi Love because they have the patch notes all the way back in the very beginning, going to the very beginning of Raid Shadow Legends. It was actually 2 years ago where he got the really big buff, right? They went in there and they changed his base stats. They changed his speed from 87 to 97 and his base defense from 1255 to 1421. Really solid. You don't see them buffing and changing base stats very often in the game. I wish they would do it, frankly, a little bit more often. Anyway, he's a defense-based champion, so now instead of 12, whatever it was, 1421 is a really nice base defense stat. He has a stun on the A1, a 50% chance of landing that stun when you have him booked out. On the A2, a Wave of Despair is 3 times at random. I don't normally love random attacks except for when attacking bosses, but this one smacks. Each hit has a 100% chance to remove all buffs. You love the buff strip component in there. Also places a provoke for 1 turn. If a buff was removed by this skill, the provoke cannot be resisted. This is a really nasty provoke ability, considering we're removing block debuffs, etc. as well. On the A3, Reign of Terror attacks all enemies, increase the duration of all debuffs on each target by 1 turn. Then places a provoke on all enemies for 1 turn, so another ability ability with provoke, a little mini war chief here, right? Except for a lot more damage on top of that. Plays a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns, equal to 30% of the damage inflicted. So now he's bringing his own self-sustainability in the battle vis-a-vis the shield, which is a big one because he's inflicting a lot of damage. Before Souless Dragonbane came around, this dude in Harima, this dude was the king of defensive-based nukers in the game, and it wasn't really close. He's still up there, but now Ragash and stuff, there's quite a few that have been added over the last year or two. Anyway, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. This Reign of Terror, man, it can do some serious damage on a 4-turn cooldown. Defense and faction crypts by 44%. One of the best auras you can get for faction crypts, especially in progression. So if you're in the same boat as whoever that commenter was, and he's one of your first legendaries, congratulations, man. He's underrated in the game. He really is. All right, let me go ahead and take a look at his multipliers. Shout out to hellhades.com. We're using all the websites in today's video. They give him, what do they give him for a rating? A 4. They give him a 4 overall grade. I think that's pretty fair on this guy. They give him Ice Golem 5 out of 5. Ice Golem hard, they give him a 2.5. Sheer damage is where it's at with this dude, but he can still be a provoker or control, help you with the waves, and be tanky enough to stay alive against the Ice Golem, even in hard mode, right? Doom Tower waves, he's amazing. Great control, survivability, damage. Control, survivability, damage, and buff stripper. He's got it all, right? And buff extender. He's got a lot. Dark Fae 4, Eternal Dragon 4, Frostbiter 3.5, Magma Dragon 5, Easy 5, Arena 5. Multipliers 2.8 defense on the A1. That's the stun ability, right? Triple hitter 1.8, so not too bad. Obviously, we're getting a 4.6 total out of the A3 when you add up all 3 hits. And then we have Reign of Terror with a 4.9 multiplier. Keep in mind, though, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target, so that can scale up really, really nicely. They're going to have provoke anyway on them, hopefully, right? So you get extra 10% damage right out the gate. Let me go ahead and show you how I have them built here. Now, if you're, as I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to run this dude in the arena specifically, like just the arena, and he is the perfect arena nuker for a go second team, right? Because again, for the 5th time, I'll stop saying it, he's super tanky, right? He's easy to keep alive, and he smacks. And because on a go second team, what's the number one thing you're going to have to contend with? The enemy team that you're going against, the go first team, or just if you have a more tanky team than you are that actually goes first and buffs up, you're going to be kind of in trouble because you don't have a buff remover on your team. He has some of that in his A2 as well. So I really do enjoy this guy's kit. I think that honestly, even in preparation for today's video, I was like, wow, I forgot that he does all of that. I forgot that he shields himself and stuff as well. Anyway, we have him in the arena. I would put him in Savage or Lethal, right? You just want him to be an uber nuker, put him in Savage or Lethal, obviously. I decided to put him in 3 sets, which I love for this champion. You can go all 3 of these. You can go mix and match, do whatever, but sometimes in some of these guides, I like to kind of put a triple 2 set of different sets, which I like him in. I want to add a last set on him, a 4th set, I should say, on him as well, and that would actually be Frostbite. In the arena, I love putting a Savage or Lethal and then a Frostbite in addition to that on provokers, right? So Frostbite is 15% chance to block freeze debuffs, which is nice, but a 10% chance to place freeze debuffs on the attacker, which is really good, obviously, for a provoke champion. So something to consider as well, especially if you're running him in the arena. Put him in a Savage and put him in a Frostbite, land those freezes. And keep in mind, even though we want accuracy on these guys, artifacts or debuffs from artifacts don't require accuracy anyway. So speaking of accuracy, let's look at his total stats here. We have 203, 100, and 209 in the crit rate, crit damage speed, almost 5K on the defense, and 469, quite a bit of accuracy here. Again, going back to the sets, Defiant gives defense, defense gives defense, and Perception gives accuracy and a little bit of speed. We also have 15% less damage taken from enemy AoE attacks, which is really, really good. Defiant is an incredibly good 2-piece set. We have accuracy on the banner. I feel like you can go defense on the banner as well, but I want enough accuracy because I really want to take advantage of those provokes, right? It's a massive part of his kit. We have crit damage on the amulet, and we have defense on the ring. We have speed on the boots. we have defense percentage on the chest, and we have crit damage on the gauntlets. Don't ask me why I fully ascended this piece. I did it a long time ago, or whatever, a year ago, and I mean, it's not bad. It's good. It's great for this build, but it's weird to fully ascend a rare, I feel like, with accuracy and no speed or anything. But hey, it is. You ever do that, guys? You ever look back at, it doesn't have to be ascension. It can just be glyphs that you used on a crappy artifact or whatever, or an artifact that you fully upgraded, and then you look back a couple years later, like, why did I ever upgrade that artifact ever? I have no idea. I still do that. We all do it. Anyway. Okay, so we talked about stat priors, we talked about his gear. We want him to be enough accuracy to control the match, but we also want him 100% crit rate. So stat priorities here are going to be crit rate, accuracy, defense, crit damage, speed. Okay? And we don't want to totally neglect HP at the same time, right? We want a lot on this dude. Now, I have him a little for Brimstone. If I was going to run him only in the arena, I would just put Soul Reap on him, okay? But I love Brimstone on anybody that I'm building with accuracy and deals damage. I love throwing Brimstone on them. Brimstone and Smite are just so freaking good, man, in this game, right? So much damage. Support, we went down and we grabbed the accuracy masteries. We came down, we also picked up Spirit Haste. There is no need for Master Hexer or Sniper in his kit because he's landing provokes, and he's landing a stun, and none of that will apply to Sniper or Master Hexer. On the offensive side of things, let me move out of the way a little bit here. I went down, I picked up Ruthless Ambush, I picked up Opportunist for the arena specifically, where we're going to try him out. It's obviously great in wave content as well. Does more damage at our first hit. You could obviously also go with Single Out or Heart of Glory as well. You could come down to Bring It Down and then come down to Kill Streak. I like going with Helm Smasher. It's still obviously effective against bosses. It's not as effective as War Master, but it's kind of an all-around. It'll help you against wave content, especially against bosses' minions. It will help you in the arena. So I like going Helm Smasher. Let's take a quick look just for a second opinion, though, which I like to do in these videos. I like to give you a robust take on all of these champions, not just my opinion, but others as well. They recommend going, again, down to War Master, coming down to Lasting Gifts as well. So Lasting Gifts is an interesting choice. It's just the shield, right, that he's bringing. I wouldn't pick up Lasting Gifts for just the shield, because the shield is, you know, he's probably going to be taking damage, and it's probably going to go away anyway, even if you extend it. You know what I'm saying? So I would not. And again, I mean, with all due respect, I like to point out when I disagree with things as well. They also have a control build, trying to get that provoke percentage up with Fearsome Presence. Again, this could be good for niche, like Endgame, Soul Cross, and Centranos content. But I would personally prefer going with a standard PvE or maybe going with a nuker build. I imagine they just come down and pick up Helm Smasher. They go with Retribution and Deterrence. Going defense and going with Retribution and Deterrence on this champion is actually a really viable option, because obviously we can get those counterattacks and get the stuns from said counterattacks. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and take a look at Souless in action here. Let's start in the arena. Where else, right? Now, look at this. This team has Madame Ceres. This team has Lydia the Death Siren. Both of these champions have decreased defense. I don't need to tell you guys, that is the last thing that we want to go against with a defensive-based nuker. Not only are they squishier, but also they're going to do less damage, because decreased defense is kind of it can be a boon on increased defense. It gives us more damage, more survivability, but it goes both ways, doesn't it? So I'm actually going to, I mean, we can face these teams, but we'd like to avoid them unless we have a go first team or a strategy to control the other team before they cast their decreased defense. The last option would be building a little resist or using a resist aura on a team like this. We could use Lydia, for example. That all being said, we have this all-out defense team. I do have a debuffer in Lydia the Death Siren, and I have Gottfried Brassclad, because he brings increased defense. Again, we always want to be setting up our defense-based damage dealers with increased defense, going before, or an increased defense buff before they go, right, for more damage. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage he can do. So go in here. Man, Inquisitor, can you calm down? I'm trying to record a video over here, dude. All right, so we're going to come in with the increased defense. we're gonna use Helicath's A3, right? Nice little setup here. And now we're gonna give Souless a chance to do his thing, right? Of course, they have block damage, but guess what, guys? Guess what? We're not going to be able to use the A3, but hey, they're under block damage. We can mitigate that and remove it with his A2 ability. That's really nice, right? So again, now he has the block damage. Everything's looking great here. And that was his A2. It did pretty nice damage. And look at that, the provoke on their Reviver, the provoke on Roshkard as well. You can already see the utility just even beyond just damage that he brings to the table. Hey, Godfrey, you're stealing the show, bro. Stealing the show. Oh, let's go against the Taurus team, guys. What do you say? All right. So I don't know how this one's going to go, but we'll see, right? We're going to go in there. Going to debuff. There we go. Everybody except for the UDK killer. We're going to come in here with the increased defense. We're going to go in, do the same kind of move. The fear. The Taurus fear, man. I hate it. Okay, so again, a ton of buffs. Doesn't really make any sense in the world to go in with the A3 at this point. Instead, we're just going to go in with the A2. And again, remove some buffs, put a provoke on them. Taurus, this is beautiful. Why? Because Taurus does so much damage with the constant pressure ability, but that damage scales up according to the amount of buffs he's under, kind of like a Turvold, right? So we were able to mitigate that utilizing the A2 ability. Let's go in here and try to land a couple stuns. So we're doing a great job so far controlling their big threat in Taurus the Fierce. I'm going to go in with the A2 and just get a shield refreshed on everybody with Helicath. Helicath, another amazing defense-based nuker. Harima, Helicath, Staltis, and Godfrey right here. And Souless. Those are kind of my, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but those are kind of my favorite defensive-based nukers. You can build the nuker out of like a Valkyrie as well. Anyway, let's keep it going here. So far, I have to say, the team's pretty impressive, right? If I do say so myself. We're coming in here against like a clearly end game team in good gear. I think they had a lot of player power. Really meta champions, more so than my team, I would say, even though it's pretty close, to be fair. And we're in the lead, right? We're in the lead. All right, so I'm going to actually save the increased defense because we have petrification everywhere on my team. Frickin' Mithrala. We do have the lockout skills for 3 turns thanks to Lydia on Duchess, so we don't have to worry about a revival. We do have to worry about... Oh, crap, Mithrala. Oh, I spoke too soon. Let's hope that fear procs. Here comes Taurus going in. But hey, one thing that's nice is decreased attack obviously means nothing to us, right? On the team like this, means nothing. All right, we get to try out the A2 again here, guys. Let's go in, remove some buffs, and again, we mitigate Taurus. We place a provoke on their Reviver. Fantastic stuff here. Let's go in with the... as much as I want to go in with this, I'm going to go in with the stun. Who am I kidding? It might be wiser to go with the increased defense instead, but we're in the lead. We're gonna bring this one home, right? So obviously, not bad, right? Not bad at all there. Really, really love a team like this. It's kind of like a cool go second team, right? Let's go into Magma Dragon, right? Right now, it's a new cycle of Doom Tower, so I apologize that we have this Magma Dragon. I was playing around with all the Blade Masters, which is actually really fun. Let's like take a couple of these out, and then let's keep Soul the Drakes in, of course, and then put Souless in and just try it out. I'll come back to you guys when we get to the dragon. All right, guys, here we go. So we can land that provoke, as I said, on the A2 or the A3. We land the provoke on the Magma Dragon. Not only does he bring the provoke, but he brings a heck of a lot of damage as well as the Brimstone on top of that, right? So getting the job done here, and he should be all the way back to, can he get that provoke back up? Let's take a look. Now, again, this is like stage 20 or something of Doom Tower Hard. You know, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, the final Magma Dragon, but if you go in, I have it on full auto. If you go in there and you just manual it, so you have the A3 and the A2 available, you should be able to keep him under a constant provoke, utilizing Souless. You can see right there, or you can time it with the abilities. Either way, a lot of damage. Rathalos, though, putting out a lot of damage there. Very impressive, man. A lot of damage and a great control. Great control. All right, a lot of heals from Soul the Drakes as well. There's one more area I wanted to show you guys. This guy, Souless, before I let you go. I think it was stage 16 of Soul Cross. So I'm noticing in a lot of these, especially in Soul Cross on hard, at least difficulty, he's really good. You know, I mean, for all the reasons we've already spoke about. First of all, look at that damage he just dealt. I mean, Souless is a cool freaking champ, huh? He's just one of those champions that honestly I don't play around with a ton, right? Until I make videos like these. And then I take him out of the vault and I'm like, dude, why don't I use this champion more often, right? It's kind of one of those moves. That was his A1. If we didn't kill him, we had a good shot at landing a stun there, right? And this is, I mean, it doesn't feel like it because this team is super OP, but this is one of the more difficult stages in Soul Cross on this rotation, you know? It's far from the most difficult, to be fair, but it's definitely up there, right? And we're making it look fairly easy here because mainly we don't even need to run stun sets. We just have a lot of damage between Leo and a lot of control between Jirigid and, excuse me, a lot of control with Souless, a lot of damage with Jirigid. There we go. Spit it out, Ash. All right, guys, that's going to be the guide here on Souless. Really, really cool Night Revenant, Void Affinity, nuker / control / debuffer / stunner, everything on this dude. Let me know if you have any champion guide requests in the comments below, guys. I get all of my video ideas from you guys. I appreciate you watching all the way till the end. And as always, take care, guys.